Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. This is Jason. Nice to see you again. I know it's been a while since I put on a video. All I gotta say is being a single parent sucks. I'm not a single parent for real. My wife's just out of the country for a few weeks, and I've been taking care of the kids by myself. It's been a little bit of a difficult time getting out a video, but I wanted to talk to you today about the job market. The job market is cooked for entry-level folks. So if you are in that era of your lifetime, you've got a college degree in computer science, you've got a few projects underneath your belt in development, and you are not finding a job, I'm going to tell you why. A lot of it has to do with risk mitigation. So you guys may or may not know, because there are certain parts of my life that I keep kind of not secret, but I don't really talk about until they're a little bit more developed. But along with owning, a bar and a jiu-jitsu academy, I actually own a software company as well, or I'm a part owner of a software company. It's called Zeal Pro Shop, and we do gym management software for jiu-jitsu academies and CrossFit academies. And we have had the worst time getting help in the programming department. And part of that has to do with the fact that we're on a shoestring budget. We're bootstrapping this company. We're doing this rather deliberately because we don't want to give up control, and we don't want to bring investors in who are going to take a large chunk of the equity without providing anything other than just money. Like, they generally don't provide support or real expertise in any way. So as we've gone through this, we found that we didn't really have the money to hire really good programmers. So we needed people who are sort of entry level, who are quick learners, who are going to be able to jump on things, learn things really quickly, and contribute to our company. We have found that that approach is not working at all to our satisfaction. And at this point right now, we're down to one really good developer who's over 50. And why does this matter? I would think that someone over 50 would have a hard time adjusting to new realities in software development and adjusting to AI tools. This turns out to be not the case. And this guy is a partner with me in the company. He's a senior developer. He's got 30 years of experience. 30 years of experience can be a huge benefit. It can also mean that you're really set in your ways, and this is definitely not the case. We've managed to take, or he rather has managed to take ChatGPT and sort of eliminate the need for that entry-level programmer. ChatGPT, let's talk about this for a moment. People think that it's replacing the need for all software developers, all of those entry-level software developers. That's definitely not the case. But it is replacing the need for some of those entry-level folks. And let's talk about the process for bringing on those entry-level folks. So if you a really good software developer, costs you $160,000 a year. For a company on a shoestring budget like this, we really can't afford this. All of the effort has to be put forth with the partners. We have to put in our sweat equity as well as money to get this business off the ground. So when we're hiring these software developers who are entry level, maybe this is their first job, the idea is to, they come in with the knowledge of how to do basic programming. We train them on, how we do things, and eventually they start getting things and start contributing to, to productivity. This really wasn't the case in our experience, but we found that ChatGPT is far more advanced when it comes to computer programming than it is with lots of other things. Like, I find that ChatGPT makes a lot of mistakes when it comes to tax advice. I always double check what ChatGPT is telling me in my own financial practice when it comes to financial advice and tax advice, because a lot of times it's wrong. It's learning things on the internet that are based on wrong information to begin with, or sources or ideas that are fallacious to begin with. However, this isn't the case when it comes to programming. You can basically go to ChatGPT and say, hey, this is the software that I have. This is the structure of the database. This is what I want this program to do. Can you do this for me? And it can. And one of the bigger benefits is saying, this is the code that I have. Can you make this more efficient? Can you take this from 4 pages of code down to like 10 lines or something like that? And it can. So we're still going back and we are checking what ChatGPT is doing, but to make sure that it's correct. And in most cases it is, which you can't say that with an entry-level employee. You really just can't. And the idea of training your entry-level employee to learn the way you program, to learn your API interfaces, all that stuff, That process also takes place with ChatGPT. It learns as you go along. And there's going to be other programming aids that come out here in the future that are going to make that easier and easier and easier. I was really excited about this company when I first started, and I have a friend who, or had a friend rather, who kind of basically crapped on every idea that I ever had. And then when I spoke about writing the software, getting it done, he always said, ChatGPT this, ChatGPT that, like, you're not doing anything. At the time, that wasn't actually true. Like, the software developer that we had and the contractors we hired were actually writing everything. Now, though, that is kind of true. The head software developer is able to use ChatGPT basically as 3 or 4 different entry-level programmers. And the biggest benefit is that if you feed an application programming interface or an API to ChatGPT and say, I need to design something around this, it can do it a lot faster than any entry-level employee is going to do. So that's kind of the reason why you're coming out of college with a computer science degree, a couple of projects underneath your belt. You're not getting interviews, and you are not getting looked at by anyone unless you have a personal connection to that company. It really is because this process is not starting with the large companies where there's some institutional inertia behind them and they're slow to adapt these new technology. It's really starting with these smaller companies that are saying, hey, we need to do something to improve operational efficiency because we operate on this shoestring budget. How can we cut our largest expense? And our largest expense in a small company, software development company, is always going to be labor. How can we cut this? How can we make this more efficient? And I've got to tell you that a senior developer working with ChatGPT is a heck of a lot more financially efficient than a senior developer working with 3 or 4 entry-level guys and having to correct all their work. We still have to make corrections with ChatGPT, but ChatGPT, understanding the programs and the products we are interfacing with and able to write code on top of that is absolutely wonderful at this point. I assume that other software, other AIs are going to improve on this process as time goes on. This problem is only going to get worse. There's going to be fewer and fewer opportunities for entry-level computer science grads in the future. You're really going to need to be highly specialized in this space. I don't have the answer as far as why, or I don't have the answer as far as what you need to do in order to get prepared for the future. But you're going to have to do something, because the idea that you're going to go out and apply for a company, get that opportunity, prove yourself, learn faster than ChatGPT, learn faster than Claude, learn faster than all of these other AIs, that's just not going to happen. So anyway, I don't have the answers, but that's something I wanted to discuss today. We ended up getting rid of all of the contractors that we had. Now we essentially have one main guy and a bunch of AIs working for us at this point, and it's a lot cheaper than paying contractors. They don't ask for time off. They don't get sick. They're not going to go on strike, and they're not getting better job offers. Anyway, those are just my thoughts today on why the job market is so tough for recent college grads in computer science. The job market is cooked for you guys. I don't have the answer. Anyway, thank you very much and have a nice day.